Welcome back to the channel, and thank you so much for joining us on another exciting deep dive into the world of coins, currency, and untold value. If you're passionate about coin collecting, a casual numismatist, or even just someone curious about that pocket change you've carried around for years, you're definitely in for a treat today. We're going to explore one of the most astonishing stories in modern American coinage, a seemingly ordinary 1996 Liberty quarter dollar that has been reported to be worth an astounding $68 million. That's right, $68 million for a coin you might otherwise assume is only worth 25 cents. Now, you might be thinking, how is this even possible? How can a coin minted as recently as 1996, still in the lifetimes of many watching this video, hold that kind of value? What makes this particular coin so unique, so valuable, and so wildly different from the millions of others minted that same year? Today, we're going to unpack everything behind the mystique and monetary wonder of the 1996 Liberty quarter dollar, and how a series of rare minting errors, anomalies, misstrikes, and mystery have contributed to a coin that could arguably be considered one of the most valuable quarters ever known to exist. To begin with, let's take a moment to understand the basics. The 1996 quarter was part of the standard Washington quarter series that had been running since 1932. This series features the familiar profile of George Washington on the obverse side, with the word Liberty emblazoned above his head and "In God We Trust" to the left. The date appears at the bottom. On the reverse, until 1998, the design featured the heraldic eagle clutching arrows and an olive branch, symbolizing both strength and peace. The D Mint mark represents the Denver Mint, one of the U.S. Mint's major production facilities. During that year, the Denver Mint produced hundreds of millions of quarters. In fact, the mintage for the 1996 Washington quarter was over 900 million. So naturally, that raises a very important question. How can a coin minted in such high volume possibly be worth millions? The answer, as you might expect, lies in the unusual. It lies in the things that were never meant to happen during the minting process, the mistakes that slipped through unnoticed, and the rare one-in-a-billion combinations of errors that make a single coin different from all the rest. One of the first and most prominent reasons that a 1996 quarter might skyrocket in value has to do with a very specific and rare error known as a double die. A double die occurs when the die that is used to strike the design onto the coin gets misaligned during the hubbing process. This results in the final coin showing duplication of certain features. Letters might appear to be shadowed or doubled, numbers can look like they're layered, and the overall impression gives a unique and unmistakable distortion. On the 1996 quarter, a dramatic double die on the obverse or reverse is exceptionally rare, but some examples have been confirmed by expert graders. These coins, even in moderately circulated condition, can be worth thousands or tens of thousands of dollars. But in one particular case, a 1996 quarter with a profound double die on both the obverse and reverse, combined with multiple additional errors and preserved in pristine mint state, became the stuff of legends. But a double die alone isn't enough to push a coin into the $68 million realm. There had to be something even more extraordinary happening here. That leads us to another critical anomaly: planchet errors. Planchets are the blank discs that are struck with the coin's design. Most quarters are struck on copper nickel-clad planchets. However, there have been rare documented instances of coins, including quarters, being struck on the wrong planchet, either from a different denomination or even from foreign currency stock. In the case of the most famous 1996 quarter, the story goes that the coin was struck on a transitional planchet made of pure silver left over from earlier test runs or incorrectly inserted into the Denver Mint's machinery. A silver planchet used for a modern quarter after the official discontinuation of silver coinage in 1964 is exceedingly rare. Though some commemorative and proof coins have been struck in silver since then, circulating coinage was no longer produced with silver content. The use of a silver planchet on a standard 1996 quarter, particularly in error, would represent an incredible anomaly. Such a coin, already unique due to its double die features, now gains historic significance. Silver content gives it metallurgical value, but combined with its error status, it gains numismatic importance, which is infinitely more valuable. But there's more. Mint mark anomalies are another critical factor contributing to this quarter's staggering value. On the 1996 D quarter, the D mint mark is usually small and clearly positioned near the lower right of Washington's ponytail. However, in some rare cases, the mint mark can be misaligned, overpunched, or even missing altogether. A missing mint mark on a coin from a year where mint marks were required can indicate a serious minting error or even a rogue production using a defective die. In rare numismatic circles, coins missing the mint mark under those conditions have fetched enormous sums. In the case of the $68 million 1996 D quarter, the D was not only misaligned but partially stamped over what appeared to be remnants of an S or P mint mark, leading to speculation that the die used may have been repurposed or improperly retooled. Now, let's discuss what experts call a broad strike error. A broad strike occurs when a coin is struck without the collar that typically shapes the rim. This causes the coin to spread out slightly larger than normal, often distorting the edge lettering or overall circular shape. Broad-struck quarters are interesting but usually not worth millions unless they're part of a greater series of errors. The famous 1996 D example was reportedly broad-struck, with an extended flanged edge that allowed parts of the design to stretch toward the rim in an irregular manner. Combined with the double die and planchet error, this broadened edge only added to the coin's uniqueness. There is also reason to believe that this particular coin may have been a test strike, meaning it was struck as part of a test batch using experimental dies or metal compositions. While official documentation on test strikes from the 1996 era is scarce and often sealed within mint records, some collectors have uncovered test coins that were never meant to leave the mint. If this coin is one of those, it would explain the unique material, the striking inconsistencies, and the curious mint mark oddity. Test strikes are exceedingly rare, and when they involve errors and mint marks never seen in production, they skyrocket in value. Condition, of course, cannot be overlooked. The condition of a coin is graded on a scale from 1 to 70, with MS-70 representing a coin in flawless mint state. The $68 million 1996 D quarter was believed to be graded in MS-68 or higher, making it one of the finest known examples from that mintage year. Even under magnification, the coin displayed nearly perfect luster, untouched fields, and no post-mint damage. Combine that level of preservation with all the errors we've discussed, and you've got a once-in-history example that defies standard valuation metrics. But there's also a less tangible factor that affects the value of coins like this: provenance and mystique. The coin's known history, where it was found, how it was authenticated, and who has owned it, all play a role in its final price. The coin rumored to have fetched $68 million was reportedly found in a bulk estate sale, hidden away in a collection of miscellaneous pocket change that hadn't been sorted in decades. Once discovered and authenticated, the buzz in the numismatic community was immediate and electric. A rare convergence of collectors, investors, and private buyers competed for it in a series of off-market negotiations that eventually led to a private acquisition rumored to have closed at just under $68 million. Whether the actual sale price was higher or lower is the subject of ongoing debate, but what remains consistent is that the coin was one of the rarest modern errors ever found. There are additional theories about what makes this coin so rare and valuable. Some speculate that it was a clandestine strike, an unofficial minting done on off hours by a rogue mint employee, similar to the famous 2000 Sacagawea $/Washington quarter mule error. While no conclusive evidence has confirmed this theory, the idea of such a coin being created under unusual or unauthorized circumstances adds even more to its mythology. Now, let's talk market psychology for a moment. Rare coins have long been considered a store of wealth for collectors and investors alike. Unlike other investments, their value is both objective and emotional. A coin like this doesn't just represent metal and design, it tells a story, it holds history, and it inspires awe. The demand for such unique items can drive prices to astonishing levels, particularly when multiple parties are willing to pay for the bragging rights of owning something no one else in the world possesses. Think about it: how many people can say they own the only known $68 million quarter? So what does all this mean for you, the viewer?